guys, we're live. Let me really quick on my Instagram post a story telling everyone that we're live right now so that we can get a few more viewers. So here we go. Just so that we let people know what we're doing. All right. Make that a bright color, you know, all the fancy things in Instagram. There we go. Okay, well, thanks for joining me today. It's been a little frantic trying to figure out how to fit this in, but we're here. We're trying to be professional. And what I'm going to do today is actually start a new painting that I've been wanting to do, kind of a foresty themed thing. And so that's what we're going to do. Here's another post. Sorry. There we go. I just got to get it all set up. Awesome. Sweet. All right, so we're going to use acrylic, and I'm going to do my classic start with a warm underpainting deal, but I'm going to go for kind of a vermilion light red. I'm going to add a little light to it. I don't want it to be too orange. So we're going to do that. Mix that together. Use a big brush to cover the canvas really well. So I'm going to wet down my brush here ever so slightly and mix to get kind of a peachy color. And it doesn't have to be super thick or anything. I just want a layer down. Now for this painting, I did a few thumbnails, as you can see. Give you a close up there of kind of some composition for values and things. I think I'm going to go with this one because the river waterfall thing's kind of going up through it more. Trees, rocks, it's just got a little bit more interest. So that's what I'm going to go for. Oh man, I went wimpy on the paint. Come on, Mary. Let's get a little bit more. There we go. Hopefully that's enough. I don't know. You always and I'm kind of a skimp when it comes to paint. I like to save paint as much as possible rather than waste it. I still end up wasting some, but I don't want to see a pile of paint end up being thrown away or just drying out on the palette because it makes me feel sick. No, not really, but I feel bad. And, you know, money goes into paint, so. Good. This layer is going to dry really fast under these lights. So you can tell I'm already having trouble, getting it to blend. Which is requiring me to make more paint because it's, hard to move around the canvas. As you can tell, I didn't get to this step before we started. That's okay, you know, one of those days. Okay, let's see. Up here. I don't want this to be, it's a little drippy. There we go. Nice. It's looking a little on the pink side. more pink than I was thinking, but you know, it doesn't matter. We're going to show just pieces of it through the painting because it's that underpainting. As you can see, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but I covered an old painting that was really just so kind of an abstract floral thing. Sometimes you do that, you know, you can use a nice canvas. You don't have to throw your work away. And I contemplated it for a while and I was like, yeah, nah, it's just not worth keeping. No one's gonna buy it. You know, it's one of those things. It was an experimental thing. And that's okay. I can cover over canvases that are just perfectly good. And I put a little bit of gesso and white acrylic paint on it. Not too much. I could have done more layers, but I was like, I'm already going to do this to it. And I'm already going to put a bunch of green and yellow and blue down. And it'll be fine. So there's that in all its glory. Soak that brush. Don't need it right now. I'm going to steal that paper towel over there. Quick. Haha. Okay. So I was looking at a bunch of different reference photos for this one. And I'm going to kind of make it up as I go a little bit. But I did have a friend, thank you, Xiao, on Facebook for letting me paint this. He had taken a picture. I think they're somewhere on the West Coast. Took this picture and I was like, that's exactly what I wanted to paint. I just couldn't find like a reference photo. So I'm going to be kind of using that, except that I'm not going to copy it exactly because I have some other ideas. So let's see. I'm going to use, well, I've got two different, let's see. I'll probably use this brush size-wise. And I'll probably, knowing me, use it for pretty much everything. I don't know why I do that, but I do. Let's see, process here. We did the underpainting. Now I want to think about the next step. Like, do I block in the trees in the distance? Yeah, that's what we're going to do. And I'm not going to show you the picture. I'm going to just let you guys kind of watch how this morphs together a little bit. I'm just going to kind of use what I know from atmospheric perspective, landscapes, trees, mountains, water. As things get farther away from you, they get bluer and lighter ever so slightly. That's why the mountains here in Colorado can look kind of blue and purple from a distance. So I'm going to start, and you always start front to back, or sorry, back to front. Stuff further away, then stuff closer to you. Obviously, I could do the sky first, but I want to show some of this in the background. So that means that I need to do the subject matter, then the sky to let the edges kind of morph. It's how I did my cloud series, which you can check out on my website at fragilegloryimpressions.com to see how I did that. So I'm going to make a very light, I want that other blue. There's two different blues here, ultramarine and a primary more phthalo blue, which is like a blue-green. This blue-green makes great greens when you mix it with yellows. So that's what I want. The other one, it has a little bit of purple in it, and so it's not going to make the greens we want here. Okay. We're going to go at it. I'm going to use my reference, my thumbnail to help me a little bit for composition. And layout. So my opening for my sky is going to be here. So my trees, ooh, look at that on that background color. It's like the opposite of, I'm going to put in this very light, they're kind of like aspeny looking trees off in the distance. I just want to put in a little bit of that. Now my underpainting is not perfectly dry. Ooh, yeah, it's not. I'm seeing the orange pop up in spots. So I'm gonna have to be careful. I mean, a little blending's okay, but I want it to kind of lay more on top. But we're gonna come up this way, kind of create sort of a backdrop, less detail back there, so a little bit more softly blended. And some of this will have to take layers, like a lot of times to build up a scene, you have to, especially in acrylic, work up the layers a little bit. So this will draw, you know, our eye back into this scene here a little bit. And when I put in sky openings, like little pieces of sky showing through, that's really going to make this pop a little bit more. Now I can quickly change the feel of the green by limiting how much white I put into it and put more yellow and that phthalo blue. And we're going to put in a little bit of that. Look at that change in color as it comes down this way. Something like that. A little bit kind of in the distance there. I do actually want some of that lighter green to pop up back in here because it's going to be between some trees that are really dark kind of in front, and so I want to give it sort of a base. I'm not painting the edges on this canvas, as you can tell. I'm just not going to worry about that. It's one I probably will frame, and so I'm going to let the frame cover it up. I don't know, you know, how wise that is, but whatever. Ooh, got a little bit of white in that spot there. Okay, and then that can come up in here. Might be a little bit back in here, but not too much. Okay, I know it looks like not much of anything, but it's a good start. Let's just kind of build up that background because there's a lot of dark. I'm going to get out maybe this color when you put like a warmer color with some of these cooler colors. You can get a nice neutral, mixing complements together. So if I mix that with my kind of dark green, I can get this kind of a green. Ooh. And now this is where I want to determine where my little waterfall thing is in the distance. I think it's going to be like there. And so this is just like really dark back in here. And I can do a combo of like these types of things. Different darks. Oh, yeah. Okay. And it can kind of blend with what I've got back in there a little bit. And then I'm going to put in, like, I'm suggesting where little trunks would be, but I'm going to put way more back in there with white or gray or something. But I just want to give it a little bit of something and come down just a touch. And this can kind of bleed up into there. We can put a little bit of white with it to cream it up just a little bit since it is farther away. Like we want our close-up trees to be a little bit on the darker, deeper side of things. let's just kind of, so if I brought this down a little farther, my waterfall is going to be coming through here a little bit and down. And so this back in here is all going to be dark. And this stuff can be changed, but this is going to be where the water comes around. So this we want to be nice and dark back in here. I think I need to get out this sort of red color because this color is probably what needs to be mixed with that green to just, neutralize it a little bit more. Oh, I do have this ultramarine that'll be helpful. Because blocking in like where your darks are going to be, it's just a good idea. So like all of this is going to be fairly dark. You know, this is pretty dark, but there's spaces in it. It's like dark up in here. Okay. This is gonna go over in here. This can be pretty messy for now. We'll put in maybe some other colors later, but we're just gonna block in some of this dark. Okay, we're gonna block in a little bit up here. It's a little scary because it's where more of the sky opening is gonna be. But there's just darks up in here. Like this whole corner is pretty dark. Again, just blocking in some of this dark. That can be kind of messy. I mean, we're painting trees, for goodness sake. It doesn't have to be, there's no perfect tree, right? This is kind of an in-between green. This could be placed in here. Man, things are either drying really fast or I'm just like really wimpy with the paint today. Can't tell. I'm running out of paint quicker. Yeah, so it's kind of framing that side a little bit more. We're going to put in a little bit of highlight color kind of in here. This area is kind of more blocked in. Some different greens in here. Again, you can see a lot of the orange popping through, and that's kind of my intention. And, you know, my green can be kind of messy because what's going to define it is when I come in with the sky more and add in some borders to that a little bit. This needs to cut over a little bit more. Actually, it looks kind of bluish on the ends, and that's because of the way the sky is affecting the color, how our eyes are reading it anyway. And I'm just gonna put it in like that because I think that might help what we're looking at. Okay, a little bit of greenery in here. Some more kind of blues popping up on the edges, maybe in there. You know, keeping it simple, There's more dark on the other side, probably even more than the one side. I'm going to go with this really dark red. Oh my, it's got a very big clump of dry stuff with it. Actually, purple might be handy to have. I always mix a lot of greens with purple just to get a nice let's see. Guess I've got enough of this green here. We can go at this here. Sure. It's a little bit too much green, maybe. Or too much purple, I mean. But honestly, while we're at it, let's put a little bit deeper colors right in here. A little bit up in here. Not like too much. I want to make sure I'm kind of capturing a texture. I'm squinting a lot at this as I put this down because it's about seeing if I'm actually, you know, putting in what I want to put in for values. Values are huge in this case. Okay. This side is very dark. And if my waterfall thingy is like here, this whole section over here has a lot of value. This should come a little lower. This will come less low over here, it seems, kind of like that. And so I'm really just going to plop in this color, especially down in here. Just stick it in there. And that actually is going to come up through some of these spots here to put in a little bit of suggestion of these trees. Boom, 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 boom. A little bit more green maybe on the tops of that. But you can see how, you know, I'm peeking some of the background green through there to kind of show that there's like some lighter trees behind getting some light. And there's a little bit more in here. This just gets really dark above. There's some bigger branches, trunks in this area. This just down here should be really dark. I'm going to put in some actual blue and yellow with it to kind of get a little bit of green hints in there. But not worrying too much about details because we're going to layer a lot more on top of that later. But for now, this is what we can focus on. Ooh. Oh, it's okay. Like I got some white in there, but I think that's okay. Because that's where this is going to fall into place. This sort of tree right in here. It feels very messy right now, but really adding in the sky is what's going to make this work in many, many ways. So I just need to continue blocking in my darks. Blocking in the darks. Oh, more yellow. Okay. Actually, it's looking good. Sometimes what I notice about when I'm painting, and I'm focusing a lot on like small things and like really paying attention to the little brush strokes or whatever. And then I look back, it does look good when I'm spending that much time on something, a little area or, building up value or something like that. It really does help when you focus on the details and not just try to think of it as a whole too much all the time. Obviously, that's the end goal, but at this stage, it's not really. Okay, I'm going to come up in here. I'm going to put in a really dark green-blue type of branch thing here, which kind of cuts into my sky shape a little bit. So that's my sky in there. Oh, yeah, this is going to really feel very foresty. I'm loving painting trees too these days. I paint a lot of clouds, but I paint a lot of trees as well. I like trees. And the sky will kind of show through some of this. Now there is this big tree, which I'm liking. I don't like how leaning it is. I'm going to do this. Stick it right there. And we're just going to mark it for now. It's not actually going to be that color of trunk, but we'll get a little suggestion of that coming through. And a little bit of some more leaves in here. This is where a little bit more of a, like a lighter blue. Yeah. That's what we want. It's kind of just on the edges. It's going to really, I think, help the look of Yes. Sorry, when you get a little excited, it's very fun to see it come together. Especially if it starts out a little rough, in your mind. It's like, oh, is this really gonna pan out? But it often does. If you just, again, pay attention to the little spots. Like, don't be like, oh, I'm gonna quickly brush over that. It's like, no, I'm gonna really work at trying to put that in there. And actually, so a little bit more of that. Right up in here, there's like this light, and that's not even the sky. That's just like what the green is doing on the edges. Oh, yes. Because the sky is very light in this reference anyway. And so we're just putting in how it's affecting. It's basically giving it sort of a halo effect. And it's not really there. It's just what the sky is making our eyes do a little bit with the contrast next to each other. So basically you get this sort of glow happening. Oof, my arm. It's quite a workout. I should bring it lower technically, but we don't have time. We are go, go, go here. Yeah, like this color is showing on a lot of these edges over here. I think that's really what's going to make. And I'm still not doing the sky yet. It looks like I am because I'm doing blue. But I'm just putting in the edges of the green. This is, that should be a lot lighter in the distance there. So a little bit more variation. Again, this is where it's kind of fun later once I've had my green put down. I can come back and like add in even more variants of, you know, green, blue, whatever, to this to really bring out edges and stuff. I am having fun. This is why I paint. I love this sort of impressionistic style. I love showing light, you know, where's the light hitting and how can I increase that? There's definitely like some, you know, branches in here. This should be darker, theoretically. Oh, yes, I'm loving this. I think I still want more of this on the edges. Yeah. It's going to really bring out the deep blues, the deep edges of some of that. Oh, look at that enclosure. Just, yeah, let's work on the sky. I'm going to see if I can bring, and I'll kind of go between things a little bit here because I'll go back to some of this blue-green and whatnot. But this it's just going to be fun to put in the sky. Then you can see how that works. And that's probably all we'll get to today. But let's just see what we can do. Sorry, getting all the clumps of paint off the end of this thing. Okay. So, sky is very white. But I'm going to put just a touch of blue. Just a touch. It's probably not going to look blue compared to what's happening in the scene, like the other blues and things, but it's enough to. I probably want to do the blue. This is where it's tricky. Like sometimes you look at the sky and it's like a light blue green, and sometimes you look at it and it's like just like blue, like purple blue. I have trouble like deciding which way to go, and I don't think there's wrong or right, and I think they blend together as it gets closer to the land. It gets lighter, but it also gets a little greener. It's tough. So we're gonna start fairly light and see how this looks. This is where I get to like put it in. So obviously this in here is going to be pretty bright. And as it comes to the edges of these trees in the distance here, I want to show that edge a little more, but then I'm going to peek through little openings of sky. Oh, my favorite part. Oh, got a little too much blue in that one. Oh, yes. It's a little bit down in here. So you can see that. That's where your eye is going to be drawn into that little spot in there. Oh, it's just beautiful. Sorry, you might not understand it, but it's just, this is why I paint. I have these moments. I have to remind myself of that. I have these moments of just like pure joy and awe, and like this is what I get out of painting that I just so enjoy. And my background orange color is going to be showing through even my white blue here, so I need to make sure that I'm going thick enough to cover it. I'm going to have to work on this when the baby's sleeping more today, because it is just so much fun. Look at that. Look at that. Little openings in here. Oftentimes the openings are actually, they appear darker because they're surrounded by the things that are going to just make that contrast a little bit darker. Oh, yes. But it shapes those trees, the edge of those. I don't know if you can see that from that far away. I'll give you a close-up when I'm getting close to the end here for today. But yeah, these like little spaces in here are really, it can be a little, I want them to be blurrier back in here, just ever so slightly. Because again, distance, things are less obvious. And then as the spaces, trees come forward, those can be sharper. It's all about understanding perspective. I'm going to get a tad bluer as I go up towards the top of the canvas, because the sky always gets a little bit bluer towards the top. Okay, see that peeking through the trees there. I'm just working with the darker blue first, or still, I should say, as I'm coming up in here. Just adding wherever I want to add that, little whispers in here. Ooh, my arm. you have to squint and imagine, that you're there and you're seeing the background showing through. Being an artist, it's really just all about observing the world around you. You kind of are forced to observe things, or people that are artists tend to be better observers of things around them. No offense to those that aren't artists, but you know what I mean. Like, we see things that some people just don't, just because they're not looking for it, and they don't need to look for it because they're not interested in it, or it doesn't matter to them, and that's totally fine. But for an artist, it's like, I'll see like a color somewhere, or like a contrast somewhere, and I'm just like, or a texture, or a pattern, or a atmospheric perspective, and I'm just like, and it's just really, really cool, really fun. I can't explain it other than that. It brings me so much joy to be able to bring, that tree to life by just doing the sky color in the background. This is where this edge will be fuzzier because it's like the tree behind. And I really think these lights like mess with my eyes. I can't see. I get blurry vision. Oh, there's not quite as much on that side. So respect that. Respect the light and the dark. A little bit more blue, especially with these spots like off in the distance here, or off to the side, because you don't want as much attention on these spaces over here. Because towards the edges of your canvas, you don't want to draw attention to the edges, because then people are gonna look at the edge and then just continue looking to the next painting or the next thing, because it's just not interesting enough, not keeping their eye engaged. Yeah. Again, these edges are a little bit lighter, blendier, softer. Just right in here. Covering some of those orange, because as it dries, that orange shows through a little more. So I'm having to put on some of those whiter spots. A little bit extra love of the light blue. Oh, yes. Okay, I gotta watch my time. Okay, a few minutes. And this is why I'm using the picture as a reference, but I'm not like having to refer to it for every single little spot, like who cares? No one's gonna know. I don't need to drive myself insane getting every single spot in there. No, waste of my time. But I can kind of, suggest and hint at things that look realistic. Again, when you learn to observe the world, you understand how things work, and you can be like, oh yeah, light will kind of, peek out like that. You can just put it in. You don't have to like be like copying something exactly. That's a little bit too choppy. I'll probably have to put a little bit of a green around that to get rid of some of that. Some of this, I'm just going to put not too much, a little glaze of a blue, light blue over that just to kind of push it back. Oh, guys, I'm having so much fun. I'm having so much fun. There's maybe just like little tiny little hints over in here. Nothing too crazy. Now, just to give you a little teaser with those like aspens in the distance, you can see like their trunks pretty well. So let's just put them in. And they're going to be kind of broken up by some of the green later, but I'm going to go in with sort of a very light purple color because with something that, yes, it looks white, but with, again, distance and stuff, it's not going to be perfectly white. I can put a little bit of a lighter highlight on it, but to start, I want to just put in little, sorry, I have to kind of hold my breath when I do this, little suggestions of some of those guys in the distance. So I got a little too much water or something on there. Yes. This is gonna maybe come this way. Once I put sort of this purplish color down, then I am free to put a little bit of highlight on them as well. There's, little pieces of some of that showing through. I'm just going to put some in there in spots to kind of give this a little bit of context for branches. Some of these are a little bit darker, so we'll just stick it into our slightly darker color, go a little bit thicker as they come down, rub them a little bit, whatever you need to do. Get them kind of hidden back in there. A little bit more. Oh, yes. Okay, now let's do a little highlight on it. A little bit, again, it's not going to be white. It'll look white. You can make something look white by having everything else around it really dark. It's called color interaction or contrast if you're just working with darks and lights. I'm just going to put a little, oh, that could be a little brighter to kind of see how it works on there. But we're going to just put a little, sorry, it helps make noise. Isn't that a Bob Ross thing? I think so. swoosh and a little dab and a little boop, 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 boop. So you see those trees back in there? Yeah. That's what we're talking about. Now, the picture I'm following doesn't have like actual light streaming onto some of these guys. And so this is where I'm going to take a little bit of artistic license and put a little bit of a bright it's a little bit musty. I just want to hint at a little bit more light kind of touching these guys in here. Like actual light touching these little things because it's touching the, it looks like it's touching the trunks a little bit. And so we're going to put in just a little bit of that. We'll maybe hint at some of that back in here. It doesn't have to be too bright because that's already really bright. And we'll put a little bit here. A little bit here. As if, you know, the sun is kind of hitting those off in the distance. I love working on things like that to get the detail. I'm going to show you this up close here, and then we're going to call it, whoa, a day, just slipped. And there's obviously a lot that needs to be worked on in this area, but I'm really happy with the sky and the trees. So I'm going to rinse off my brush, and I'll give you a close-up. Hi, fat, fluffy kitty cat. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing to my channel. Please do so if you haven't already, so you can see when I'm going to go live every week. There you go. Sorry, I'm trying to get the whole thing in there. Let's do this. Ta-da! So you can kind of see still a little bit of orange popping through, but you can like see that tree, right? Which will come down farther. You can see those distant trees in there. Greenery happening. There's gonna be a little waterfall in here that kind of comes around, and there's gonna be rocks, and it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be so much fun to paint. I mean, just this today was fun to paint. So we're gonna continue this for sure. We'll see if I make some more progress today since it's my painting day. But thanks for watching, guys. This is live stream number 44. We are getting close to a whole year of live streams every week. So week 52 will be marking a year of doing this every week. So as that approaches, I will let you know. I'm going to be doing a giveaway, probably of a bunch of stuff, some paintings, and maybe a book or two. Yeah, something fun to just celebrate having done a live stream every week for a year. And we'll keep that streak going. So obviously that'll be like in what, less than 10 weeks? I can't do that. Less than 10 weeks. 10 weeks would be 54. Yeah, so it's like in 8 weeks or something, I think. Anyway, I will keep you posted. So subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you know any artist friends or creative people out there that would find this channel interesting and fun and would learn from it, or would like to participate in the giveaway coming up in a few weeks for the 52nd live stream, please send a link to this channel or a video of mine to them and spread the word a little bit. trying to grow this channel more and more and more. So the more we can share it, the more we can get subscribers, and yeah, the bigger it'll be. And I think we have like 126 subscribers is what I looked at recently, which is great. I didn't think I'd get to 100, until the end of the year, but we have reached 100 way before the end of the year. So hopefully we can get even closer to 200 and just keep going from there. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Friday. Stay productive and healthy and safe, and have a great, great weekend. All right, guys. Thank you. Bye.